Sure. I would say we're still continuing to do that. But it's not just with me, it's with a lot of the guys. I'm not the only one that heard that. You guys aren't the only people that heard that. You know, a lot of people that follow football, that follow the Miami Dolphins, that follow Tyreek, that are fans of his. You know, everyone has seen that. So when you say something like that, it's you don't just come back from that with, "Hey, my bad." You know, you got to work that relationship up. You got to build everything up.
That's right, Fin fans. Tua Tagovailoa saying what needs to be said as a leader. How can you not love this guy? Speaks from the heart. Um, just an absolute great person. And I'll be the first to say, didn't want to draft him. Did not want to draft him. Especially as high as what we picked him, especially with the injury. And of course, everybody's still concerned about the injury history. But absolutely a great person, very much the leader of this football team, and the best quarterback regardless. I know a lot of people want Tua gone. They feel like we can't do anything, and injuries I agree with. Does he have the strongest arm? No, he doesn't have the strongest arm. He's very accurate. But is he the best quarterback we've had since I'm not even going to say 1999. Tua Tagovailoa is the best quarterback that we have had since 97. At least 97. I am including Dan Marino in that. Dan Marino prior to 97, absolutely the best quarterback in the history of the Dolphins. And but he's the best thing we've had. He's the closest thing we've had. His accuracy is great. But today we're talking about training camp. We're talking about pressers, and that's what I wanted to open with, is Tua Tagovailoa basically stating the facts that everybody heard Tyreek talk about. I'm out during that Jets game after not making the playoffs, and Tua basically saying, hey, you just can't come out and say my bad and expect everything to be peaches and cream. And great job of saying what needed to be said. Still has Tyreek's back. You can tell. I don't want to like cut everything down. Oh, he's just getting on Tyreek. No, he's saying, do the work. Show me. And I think as fans, we're doing the same thing to the Dolphins. Do the work. Show us as a team. You know, you can talk all day about changing the narrative, but at the end of the day, you got to show us that you can do it. You can talk about it all day and things that you're doing to change it, but you haven't changed it. So show us, and hopefully they can. But we're going to get into some news and notes and things that have happened over the last few days. Please comment. Let me know how you feel about some of them. Of course, one of the biggest things was the signing of Jonah Savaianaya, our guard. Hard to say yet if he's going to be our right guard or our left guard. I'm thinking probably our right guard. Now I know James Daniels, who has looked really good according to everybody that's seen training camp and stuff. He is wearing the brace on the knee that he hurt. But I think most everyone is thinking, well, let me rephrase. I'm thinking James Daniels on the left side. I know he's played right guard most of his days, but it makes more sense to put him on Patrick Paul's side, to have a little help on that left side. Patrick Paul's in his second year, first year starter. So to me, it makes more sense to put Savaianaya on the right side with Jackson. Just because I think Jackson can help Savaianaya, and then I think I just went completely blank. James Daniels, excuse me. James Daniels on the left side to help Patrick Paul. But with all that being said, a lot of stuff, of course, we already know the Mika Fitzpatrick still hasn't talked to the media. We're 2 days into training camp, and he has still not come out and talked to anybody, at least in the press. So that's going to be that's interesting to me. Now, obviously, a lot of people's going, well, he's not happy about the trade. He doesn't want to be here. And in practice, he seems like he wants to be here. Maybe it's got to do with his contract. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about contract, trying to maybe get a little bit more money. But McDaniel's come out and said, hey, we talked to him before the trade. He said he was happy to be here. Of course, the big reason he came back is Weaver. He's a big fan of Weaver, our defensive coordinator. So hopefully it's just not ready to talk yet. We know that he had dinner with Tua. Tua's already talked to him before training camp. So they've already gotten together, which I'll come back to that. Interesting day 2 for Fitzpatrick and Tua. Well, I'll just go ahead and get into it while I'm on it, because then I'll end up forgetting it if I come back to it. But yeah, during practice Thursday, day 2 of training camp, literally Fitzpatrick went up to Tua and was in an very animated conversation about, hey, you're doing this, or when the corners are coming down, talking to him about the defense and what this means and how he can get around it. And then even after practice, Tua went to him and is talking to him, and you can kind of get an idea that because Fitzpatrick kind of brought out his lefty throwing motion with hey, do this or do that. But the point is, it's nice to see that learning curve, because that goes both ways. Fitzpatrick not only can help the defense, but he's actually stepping up and talking to the offense and talking to Tua about ways to get around and beat defenses. And I think that's extremely awesome. So that is really cool. And the thing, I've gotten way ahead of myself in this, but in day 1, I'm just going to go over a few things. Byron Meadows was airlifted after practice. Not sure if it was a head injury, a neck injury, but he is stable in Florida hospital, Miami hospital. I think it's Jackson, maybe, hospital. But either way, couldn't feel. He had numbness in his legs and extremities, especially his right leg. They talked that it was kind of a come and go the first day. But as of Thursday, they had come out. Now that was, yeah, it was Thursday. They came out and said that he does have all feeling and all extremities. So, thoughts and prayers to the Meadows family, and hopefully he's going to be fine. You always hate to see a player go down. He was offensive lineman with the Dolphins, camp body, and then also cornerback Artie Burns tore his ACL. So here we are short another cornerback. Now they did sign Cornell Armstrong, who's an 8-year vet. Again, camp body, because he's an 8-year vet, but he hasn't played, I believe, 2 years? He hasn't played in 2 years. So we'll see how that works out. So that is one thing. Hopefully the Dolphins can come out and get another corner. Now, a lot of people are down on the corners, and I see it. I understand it. I'm not exactly, yay, our corners is the greatest in the league. Actually, it's probably the worst in the league if you look at it on paper. But we don't play on paper. So you don't know how it's going to work out. Maybe Cater, right now, I think Cater has kind of got a leg up on one cornerback spot, and it's pretty much an open competition for the other. And I would rather Cater play the slot or the nickel position, but if he's the best we've got, then get him on the boundary, on the outside, and we have to live and die with that. And that's the thing. These guys have to be able to make plays. And what I mean by that is, again, it's a prove-it moment. This is what we have going into the season. And you can't predict the future. So you can't just say, oh, this defensive backfield is going to be horrible, or in this case, kind of our cornerback. Because I think the safety room we feel pretty good about. Or I do. You can leave a comment. If you don't, let me know why. But safeties I feel really good about, especially after Fitzpatrick, the trade for him. But at corner, you're really coming in soft. But all we're doing is looking at it of what they have done in the past. So, hey, they could come into camp and they could come into preseason and light it up. It's one of those we're going to have to see. Again, it's more of they've got to show us. That being said, I still think we need to sign one more corner. Also, Liam Eichenberg also was injured. I think they talk like he's going to be out for about 5 weeks. Now, I know a lot of you guys not high on Liam Eichenberg, but we don't wish injury on people. So, still, hopefully he's okay and he can come back. And, we still got to he's there. So you got to give him a chance. See if he's improved. I know it's been chance after chance. He's been here, 4 years now? 5 years? Maybe even 6 years. I mean, maybe he was drafted the same year Tua was drafted. It feels like chance after chance, but sometimes it's just you got to find your place. You got to find your nick. And maybe he can be a serviceable backup in that sense. Obviously, you don't want him as a starter, at least not right now. We'll see if that changes in the future or not. Of course, we picked up Darren Waller. Everybody's excited about. Second day of practice, his first catch. he's stripped and fumbles, which is good news. I think it was Cam Smith that picked up the fumble, which, not saying much, but at least Cam Smith is doing something. So that, hopefully, he hasn't played football in over a year. So there's going to be some rust there. So everybody kind of ease off on Darren. Let him get settled before we start throwing stones at that signing. Which most teammates, you listen to them talk, they're really high on him and they're really excited about him being there. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Other things that are going on. Quinn Ewers and Zach Wilson apparently looking better in both practices, day 1 and day 2. A lot of talk of that Ewers really seems like his footwork in the pocket a lot better. He did make some decent passes, had some stuff knocked down. It's kind of a just give and take. It's training camp. It is what it is. But listening to beat writers and stuff, really seems like that they have improved. Right now, that's all we can ask for is for them to improve. We've got to be able, if Tua does go down, somebody's got to be able to step up into that spot. And hopefully one of these guys in preseason will take the reins and be the undisputed second stringer, and it's not one of those, I think it's yours. I think it's Wilson. Hopefully it's a solid win for the backup is what I'm hoping for. I really don't care if it's yours or if it's Wilson, as long as there's somebody that just steps up and says, no, this position is mine. And because if you go in not knowing between the two who your backup is going to be, then you technically don't have a backup if you can't make a decision on that. The other, and some have said Kendall Sheffield. He's a 6-year vet. I think he played for the Jets last year. A lot of people are saying keep an eye on him at that other corner position. They're saying he looks pretty good. Of course, not a lot of videos come out yet. I think Saturday is going to be open to the press, so you should be able to go online and check out some of the practices. Of course, I'll try to get a video out talking about what was going on, especially in those practices, because you actually get to see a little of it. So that would be interesting. A couple of concerns. Apparently, day 2, a lot of false start penalties on the offensive line. And we already know that the offensive line is already, they had trouble last year. False starts. That's something you got to get a handle on, and that comes down to preparation. It comes down to knowing the snap count and getting in and out of the huddle. But it's training camp. That's why we have training camp, to work on this stuff. But it is a little worrisome when you're having this issue last year and you come into training camp and it's the second day and you've got like 5 or 6 false starts in their practice like 4-hour period. So it doesn't seem like that much, but when it's one full practice and you've got that many penalties, especially for one thing, false starts, makes you go, but other than that, not a lot. I think the big thing, Bradley Chubb. Now, he actually, the first day of practice, which was Wednesday, he was wearing a brace on the knee that he messed up. But day 2, he was not wearing that brace. And when they ended practice, the last play that they ended practice on Thursday, apparently he absolutely blew up Patrick Paul and was in the backfield. Now, you can take that with yay for Bradley Chubb, and you can also make that go for Patrick Paul. But Patrick Paul is a second-year guy. Iron sharpens iron, and that's the way these kids have got to learn. And I think it's great that Patrick Paul is going to have to be going against Chubb and Phillips and Robinson and guys like that, because we do have a good pass rush, at least on the outside, on the ends, and edge rushers, I guess they're calling them these days. But we do have good guys that can get to the quarterback. So if our offensive line can handle these guys, then they can handle Sunday. So it starts there. It starts in training camp, and that is where we're at right now. And I think that is about all that is going on. I know they will have day 3 of training camp tomorrow, and then Saturday it is open to the public, and that's the one that everybody's going to be keeping an eye on. So, and then, I mean, we're not far away. What, a month away from the preseason anyway. Let me look at my notes. And of course, I did not put a date down. I just put the teams down. But either way, we'll be at Chicago before you know it in August. So the season's getting ready to go. Let's hope the Dolphins are ready to go. And guys, enjoy the ride. Stop saying stop thinking that it's the end of the world. There's some good players on this team. So, let's give them at least a few weeks to get established. And I think it can still be a special season. I really do. A lot of people's going to be sending me a lot of laughing faces. But I think there's the possibility of, and I think it is one of those where everything has got to line up for it to happen in a row. But there is, especially early in the season, if we can get through that first patch and get something established early, especially a run game established early, I think we can still be something special this season. If that doesn't happen, be prepared, because it's fixing to get burnt down. But now, call me a loser, because I'm a loser, baby. So why don't... Anyway, point being, I'm excited about the season. I want to see which way it goes, and I'm there for it. If we start the season 3-1, that's amazing, and I'm there if we're 1-3. I've been here for 30 years, so hey, I'll ride and die. So, guys, leave a comment, like, subscribe. You can describe the channel if you want. But again, Finn's Temple Focus. Make good decisions, and fins up, baby.